Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing the updated Dauntless deck for Stride format. This one is changed a little bit more than Steel Dragon, although Steel Dragon did get a new critical, new grade 1, and I am running the promo card for them. But for this one actually, in my opinion, is a lot better, just because it has restanding capability, so that just automatically helps Kagero, which is typically a slow clan. Slow defensive playstyle, very traditional playstyle, just retiring the opponent's rear guards, so it messes with the board. But as more units get resist, it gets a little bit harder for them to pick and choose their retired targets. But the deck still does really well. This is a deck that benefits a lot from the limit break enabler for Kagero, which is just happens to be a Steel Dragon. But anyway, this is gonna be a Dauntless build, so let's get right into it. So for Dauntless Drive Dragon, you can run 3. I've actually never ran a Dauntless deck with 4 Dauntless Drive Dragons until now. This is like the first time I'm actually doing it. Just because I want to be able to do the restand with the different grade 3 and a grade 4 unit that's in here. Just to be able to see the restand play off. It's an old restand, doesn't use any counterblast. And you only end up breaking even from it. But that's the reason why the deck does run the draw triggers. So 4 Dauntless Drive. Then 3 Dauntless Dominant Dragon Reverse. So this guy is a card that benefits tremendously from the Limit Break Enabler. It just makes him automatically live, and he only uses 1 counterblast, and he locks 1 unit to do his effect, to gain his effect. So he basically turns all the grade 1 or graders, all the non-triggers become a trigger, essentially. So the non-grade 1 or graders will give him 3k, and he retires at grade 1 or less of the opponent's rear guards. So he'll keep blowing up the opponent's back row, similar to Steel Dragons. The only difference is he doesn't give them grade 2s in return. So that just automatically makes him a lot more competitively oriented compared to Steel Dragons. And just a lot better overall with the Limit Break Enabler. So I may actually bump him up to 4, because riding him first is actually really good with Limit Break Enablers. But otherwise, I don't know. He at 3, he's fine. Mainly because I teched in 2 Novel Vo in here, just because 2, just in the event that you damage check 1. And also just so that the weird event where you actually can do the Limit Break, where you can Counterblast 3, Soul Blast 3, and Persona Blast to actually blow up the opponent's entire field. That's pretty hilarious. Doesn't happen very often, but that's the main reason why I run 2. But otherwise, I would suggest, if you don't care about the Persona skill, just drop this to 1 and run 4 Dominant Reverse, because Dominant Reverse is really good. It's cross ride with Dauntless, and the break ride of this is really, really good at clearing up the opponent's field. But the break ride with Novel is also really good, so that's the reason why I wanted to improve the deck by running Novel. And just the 2 copies, so you don't have the issues with the grade stuck issue that used to plague Novel from back in the day. So 9, so combined total is like the 9 grade 3/4 lineup. So you've got plenty of Stride fodder, you've got extra Dauntless Drives to Stride, you've got extra Dominants that you don't need to Stride, especially if you're sitting on this guy. Or you could even use this as Stride, but I wouldn't recommend it. For grade 2, 4 Dominant Drive Dragon. This thing will become a 9k if you're in on Novel Vo, but usually it won't matter too much, because Novel is just a really scary card in general, since they can't use grade 0s. It has Son of Tom's effect, and it isn't even a Limit Break effect. And it negates the triggers, so if they're at 5 damage and they no guard this, they die. It's like, that's just game, instant game for you. They can't heal out of it, so just to help this deck get a big boost, that's why I'm running Novel. But anyway, 4 Dominant in the event where you're opening it with Dauntless. You just play the standard style. 4 Berserk Dragons, just because it's Kagero, you need to retire stuff. Dauntless doesn't have a burnout. A Novel Critic is not going to be in here, because you're only running 2 Novel Vo. In order for Critic to actually work effectively, you need to run 4 Novel. So 4 Berserk. And to handle the hefty cost of this Counterblast 2, I am running the 3 Bellicosity Dragons. Basically, Curse Lancer clone. When an attack hits the Vanguard, it's V or R, it can flip a damage. So, really good turn 2 ride when you use your starters effect to recoup the counterblast cost and all that kind of stuff. So that's the grade 2 lineup. They're all these fire dragons. It goes good with the Dauntless theme because Dauntless is behind like a burning city or something. So very old school standard lineup. Bunch of brilliant strike cards and not Fighters Collection cards from Novelle's Extra Booster from last year. For the Sentinel, I am running the Dragon Dancer Marias, so these are original perfect guards. It came out with Novelle. Just standard perfect guards, because in a mirror match up against an Overlord Kagero deck, you're going to need these. Otherwise, Protect Orb would be really good. Protect Orb would be the alternative, just so you can unflip more. But for now, I am running the Dragon Dancers. Then 3, Mulciber, the Steel Dragon Sprite. This thing is the Limit Break Enabler. I'm actually thinking of bumping this up to 4, just so that Dominant is a lot better, a lot faster. But 3 is good. Otherwise, you'll just be striding anyway, so it's not too big of a loss. But definitely 3 or 4. And then 2 Calamity Tower, because it's Kagero, it's Calamity Tower. I am running like an OCG style format. I know like right now I think we can still run 3 or 4 of this. But the deck is not the Overlord one, so you can't really loop it the way you can in that one. So just 2 Calamity Tower. Then I am running 2 Stride Fodder. Just to help so I don't have to throw away Novelle Vague to Stride. Or if I want to break ride next turn, I don't have to throw away my Dominant Reverse or something. I can use this instead. So just 2 Stride Fodder because we're already running 9 grade 3s. So assuming you're on a grade 3 and you'll ride again, that makes you have still like 7 Stride targets. Actually 7 plus 2, so you have like 9 Stride targets. So it's still good. 2 Novellarum Dragon, mainly because there wasn't a whole lot of other options. I mean, you could run 2 more Stride Fodder. That'd be fine in my opinion, but just in the off chance that you open up with this and you don't have a grade 3, it's rare, but that way you can search. And also, depending on what the opponent has, you can pick between these 2. Like, if you're up against someone like Aquaforce, usually you'll probably, if you have the Novelle and him, you're probably going to want to search this early so you can just automatically start destroying their stuff. But you can also remember that this is a cross ride on him, so that can make a lot of like the Maelstrom, Sweeper guy, Whiff, and a bunch of stuff not even be able to hit. So it just depends. It just gives you more options. And I like options for Kagero because they need a lot of them. Speaking of more options, the option to take away the opponent's starter really early. So we're running the 4 of that draw trigger. Gatling Claw is really good. People hate this card. This card's never going to go away. It's never going to get restricted. It's never going to get banned. It's just always going to be there. It's just really good. Counterblast 1, put in the soul, retire their starter. That's basically what that card does. Then the standard 8 criticals and the 4 heals. So that's the lineup for the triggers. And then the starter is Red Pulse Draco Kid. Red Pulse Draco Kid, in my opinion, is the best one for this specific deck, mainly because I'm running these. So he can search grade 3 or greater, so you can actually search Novelle. Sometimes people forget that, I'm not sure why. And just because I am running, because if you discount Novelle, there's only 7 grade 3s. So 7 grade 3s, you need this thing. And you'll have a lot of retire ways, like you can retire a starter with this. You have 4 Berserk Dragons. This guy retires like crazy. He'll never give them a back row. So yeah, that's why you don't need any other starter besides this guy. So anyway, guys, for strides, 2 Root Flare. Should be 4, but 2 for now. Otherwise, it would be 4 Root Flare. But I am running the 2 Mustafa. It's just more retire stuff, but Root Flare is better. And then 2 Zom. He combos well with Berserk Dragon, or I don't know, this thing. if they still have their starter for whatever reason. But otherwise, I almost never strided into this guy in this deck, but he's just in here for G assist or whatever. And then 2 of this guy because he's just a really good turn 1 stride. So that's basically Kagero, Dauntless, Novell, whatever you want to call it. It's a pretty good deck. A combination of these 3 guys. I was using this deck last year, but it was more focused on Novell, had the 4 Novell. This time, because Novell is extremely slow in stride format, I dropped him to 2 and bumped this guy up. So, may bring him back up to 4. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this deck in stride format. I definitely think it's better than Seal Dragons. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.